Head now.
We're live.
Oh, we're live.
I think we are live.
I had a message come up, but apparently we're live. So I don't know what that one is. How is
I see a red box.
We've got a red box. So if we're not, I think it's Cheryl's Facebook might not be getting this. So we will check that out later. How is everybody doing?
Oh, go
Happy
live.
Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And we've got Claire Darr in the house. One of our favourite soul sisters come to see us today. Looking gorgeous. It's early where you are, right?
It is. I just got back from the school run and I've got like a humongous cup of coffee. Like I've already had a cup of tea. You know, I've got to have a cup of tea first thing in the morning. So at like 5:30 this morning, I had a cup of tea, like Nana tea. And then this is the fancy coffee. Like this is the I've got like a fancy machine that does it like you're in Italy. It's like a little bit of Italy.
Well, I've got a coffee, it's empty. Like I've completely dropped the ball on that one.
Where is Mr. Elliot? Mr. Elliot.
No, honestly, service is slipping in these parts. Caleb's gone back to school. I thought I'd just have coffee and everything served to me.
Maybe he's watching. Mr. Elliot. Maybe he's watching.
If you are watching, say hi. I've got someone saying hello, lovely ladies, but I'm really sorry. I don't know who it is. It's just saying Facebook user.
I'm trying to get it to go live on me. It's not. Basically,
right.
Or on YouTube or on the Now's Your Time page. We're good.
We're good. But yes, so drop in, comment and say hello. We just wanted to get Claire on today because we've been talking this week and last week in the build up to our brand new masterclass next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Wealth Without the Hustle. And we've been talking to women who are absolutely smashing it in terms of setting up their business, running their business, creating more wealth. But when we talk about wealth, it's money, but it's also wealth of time. It's wealth of happiness. It's wealth of quality of life. It's wealth of less stress. Like that to us is wealth. Yeah. So who are creating wealth in their life, but doing it in a way that kind of steps back a little bit from being like grind and hustle, which is what like we did. I mean, girls, we're all ex-corporate. Like, corporate is an animal, right? Like it's a beast, and running your own business can be a beast if you allow it to be and you're in that mindset. So we wanted to get you on, Claire, because you, like, to me, you had one of like the hardest jobs. Like I grew up watching LA Law, much like you did, and you know, even watching Suits. They're there from 5 a.m. They're there till friggin' midnight. But to be fair, like time is literally money, isn't it, when you're in that world? And that's what you were in.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, so that was a dream, you know, forever. And I went to university twice and got 2 law degrees because that's how much I wanted to be an attorney or a lawyer or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, they bill you out, and it's a badge of honor, you know, literally every 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes of your day, you have to track.
Wow.
I mean, let that sink in for a minute. Every 6 minutes. And then there's even a number for you to track. You tracking your time because that takes time. So like every single client, everything you do, you've got to track it. And so it became about tracking every 6 minutes of your day. And it even got to the point with me where like little things, and I mean, you know, we've talked about outsourcing things before, but like little things I enjoy doing around the house. Or I remember I was out in the garden one time doing stuff with Brett at his house. And like what was running through my head is like, how much would it cost me to pay someone to do this? Because how much time I could be billing right now and making this much money, you know, like that was always in my head. But yes, I mean, there was a time, and the lawyers get this, like for you to bill 1 hour of time, that's not 1 hour of work. That's more like 2 hours of work for you to actually bill an hour of time. There was a day I remember I literally billed 17 hours. Wow. So if you think how, like there aren't enough hours in the day for you to, so yes. And that's a career where you get a badge of honor for you getting there early and you staying there late. It's a badge of honor. FaceTime, before FaceTime was FaceTime. FaceTime was like actually be there, chained to your desk, and everyone give themselves a pat on the back. I billed 370 hours this month, woohoo, you know, while having ulcers, while their kids crying because they didn't see them. Well, I got a stress rash that right after the 17-hour billable day. My mom was here actually on holiday. She's on. I just saw she commented. I got a stress rash.
It's like, it's me.
But guess what? I made a lot of money because you know what you get for that, for your pound of flesh, is they pay you a lot. And everyone always talks about like the golden handcuffs. Like we really did. There's a lot. I was talking to a friend of mine from law firm days yesterday, and she got out. Like we all talk about got out, you know. She got out about 5 or 6 years ago, but she said, I can't believe I stayed as long as I did. She said, but they were paying me so much money. So to your point, Donna, I mean, I've always, and it does, I'm not even going to qualify it. I've always made a lot of money, always. From being 15, I've always made a lot of money. I've either had 3 jobs to make sure I made a lot of money, or I found careers and jobs where I made a lot of money. So making money, you know, the action of it was never a concern of mine. It was, what did I have to give up to make that money? And so the sacrifice, yes. And you know, in the early days, it was like it was the badge of honor thing, and I you know, we're all working hard, and we're all in the trenches, and everyone's there at midnight, and everyone's still there at 2, and all of that. But I also didn't have a life, you know. I didn't have a family. I didn't even have a dog at that point. I didn't have any, you know. That was my life, was that. And so then I dared to get a dog and try to have a little bit of a life. And then what did I do? I paid someone else to take care of the dog. And so I sort of evolved. And then of course, when I got married and then I had kids, once I had Lydia, that was when I was like, this trade-off of time is not worth it. Because
like as a mom, like you said, when it was you and single, then when it was Brett and you create a bit of time. I mean, but you must still be sitting at home having dinner, and I could be dinner. Like when you had a baby in that mix, like I remember you guys, especially in the States, don't get like a year's maternity and stuff like we do in the UK a lot of the time. But there's like breastfeeding rooms and stuff in the offices, isn't there, as well? Because you know you're going to be back to work because you've got to get back to billing. And
right, most people get 6 weeks off here is like standard, and they're like, I've got 6 weeks off after a baby. I was with a really good company and I got 12. I got 12 whole weeks off. And I remember counting down those weeks, and then I asked for an extra 2. I used all of my holiday time up to get an extra 2. But yes, there was a nursing room which was gorgeous. I mean, and they were like, look at our beautiful nursing room that you can like go to, you know, with a leather chair and a gorgeous fridge. And I would be in that room click clacking back and forth with Donna, wouldn't I? I mean, we talked, when you were in the hospital with Caleb, I was in that nursing room, click clacking back and forth. You were bouncing on your ball. And so it's all about it, like, you know, and I know you've got that the masterclass. It's all about hustle. It's all about doing more. You know, we don't take a lot of holidays here. That's a badge of honor. Oh no, we don't need time off. You go into hospital for a surgery, you're right back out that day. You don't, you know, I've had surgeries and procedures here where you're like, oh, you get 8 weeks off for that. And I'm like, oh, you don't get, I mean, you're back at work the next day here, you know, that kind of thing. And so it's to keep going, to keep generating. So it's very much that hamster wheel feel, and everyone's on it. And hi, Yvette, everyone's on the hamster wheel. And so it's just part of what you do. And then, you know, I dared to sit and look at it and say, you know, I was in a good spot. My mom and dad were here. I had, if there was someone else to take care of my little one that wasn't me, who better than my mom, right? That's what we had. My nana took care of me. But what was happening, I had to leave in the morning before Lydia was out of bed, so I wouldn't see her. And I would race home, literally like stressed to the max at like 7:30 at night to try to see her for a little bit before bedtime. And then would put her down, and then I'd still work some more. And that was when I got the point where I was like, this isn't worth it. Like the trade-off of time. And I remember sitting at my desk, and at the point I left, they said, tell us how much it'll cost to keep you. You write a number down. We'll write you a check for that. Whatever it takes. And I was like, there is no amount of money that is worth this. And so I've been at that point where literally, and Brett, my husband, will be like, really? There's no amount of money? Really? Like, really? You couldn't like, and I'm like, honestly, because I've been at that point of sacrificing so much and being ill from it, physically ill, like, and it's all of the, Steve Jobs was the one who said it on his deathbed. Didn't matter how much money he had, couldn't buy him back his health, couldn't buy back time. You can't buy back time,
especially that time with the kids when they're little. Like it goes,
yes. And I was like, I'm outsourcing my life to other people. I crave times where I could just stand in the kitchen and make supper, like make dinner. Like that to me sounded amazing, because could I afford to pay for someone to hand deliver it? Yes. But I wanted to be the one making food for the family, because that felt important, like all of those little things. So I started, I remember sitting at my desk in the fancy building, surrounded by I was literally surrounded by billionaires, Texas oil billionaires, and writing down a list of what was important, what I wanted. My dream list was things like making dinner at night, being there on the weekends, being able to take for a little gymnastics class. Like that was, while also, because I wanted this way, I want it all, while also making a lot of money and having lovely holidays and meeting Donna and Neil. On my list, I've still got it, was meeting Donna, Neil, and Caleb on holiday, all of us together as a family.
Yeah.
And so I all of those things, and I was like, I'm not willing to compromise all of these things that are important for money, and I still want to make money, and I want it all, basically, when I looked at that list.
It was a Saturday night. I was having a glass of wine. You were having a cup of tea. And I remember sitting in the chair in the sitting room, and you say to me, I've decided I've got this long list and there's a lot on it, but effectively, I want to work like less than half of what I do now and earn more than double. And we were like, okay. Okay.
And I dared to say it out loud, and I dared to put it down on paper. And people don't do that. Like, well, that's bonkers, right? You can't dare that. There's no way you can work less and make more, right? Who does that? That's ridiculous. But yeah, and I was like, I'm putting it out there. I'm writing it down, and guess what?
Ta-da!
And and it didn't happen like that, right?
Now, when you get up at 5:30, it's to have a cup of tea, to have something to eat, to get nourished, to ground yourself before the day. You get to take the kids to school, you get to pick the kids up. And like you said, it didn't happen like that. But it was about that decision, wasn't it? Like, something's going to give. And actually, the first change happened fairly quickly, didn't it? In terms of getting out of law and going on to your next. Like, you were looking for what it was, but you were open, weren't you? You were like, I'm going to find out what it is. I don't know yet.
Right.
That helps me live this life.
Well, yeah, I remember I was sitting in that fancy office at that desk and writing down all of the things I did want. And then I thought, right, well, what I need to do is, hi, Laurel. I love all of the things popping up. I'm like a squirrel.
I love it.
I knew I needed to then think about what came naturally to me. Like, what do I enjoy doing? What's my superpower? I didn't call it that back then, but what am I good at? What am I crap at? Because I'm crap at quite a lot. Why put energy there if I can put it here? And can I make money putting energy here? So and again, I got really simple, like very basic. What am I good at? Talking. What do I like doing? Talking.
Meeting people, earning money.
Right? I love to talk. What am I not good at? I'm not good at like paper and detail. Like, this is like the 2 law degrees later person who's like, I'm really rubbish at paper. Sorry, people who were paying like $800 an hour for me to shuffle paper. I was rubbish at it.
It's all coming out now.
But I didn't like it, and I didn't like it. I could, if I tried really hard, I could sort of be all right at it, but I had to try really hard. So I like talking to people. I like helping people. I like creating things. I like seeing things grow and build, and the fruits of that. I loved, as a attorney, I loved building businesses. I like forming businesses. I like that energy when people were starting something, so creating something, talking to people, helping them, and seeing their lives and their families' lives. Like, again, as an attorney, I would form these companies for these billionaires, and they would put their wives on the phone or their kids on the phone. They would be talking about the Halloween costumes. Like, I could see how it was affecting families. So that's what I wrote down. So I was like, make more money, working less, talking to people, and I'm not lazy, but I it was at the point where I didn't want to have to work a lot anymore. I just didn't want to. And I was like, why? Why work that hard? I wanted to work smarter, not harder. So work less.
That though, like, we're brought up working class, like our lineage is you can have anything you want if you work really, really, really hard for it. Like, you have to work hard. Like, I've had to stop myself saying it to Caleb. Now I'm like, if you work, if you really want it and you work towards it, you can have it.
Yeah, but you're working 17 hours a day. So, like, when you're saying I don't want to work that hard, like, most people work like 8 hours a day in a normal 9-to-5 job. You were working like double and then some. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So you're saying you work an hour a day.
Right. Yeah. Like, I've gotten to that point where it was just so extreme. I was like, oh, yeah. At that point, 8 hours a day was like not working hard.
Yeah.
It's like a full-time job for someone else. Yeah.
It's
not many jobs are 9-to-5. Everyone's on bloody Zooms late.
Not
now.
And now, no. I mean, it's literally in your house, right? At all times. It's in your bag at all. Like, there is no excuse for you not answering, even physically, where they can see you. You can't even, flub it and be like, I'm in a very important meeting. They're like, oh, are you really? And so that was what I did, and I dared to write those things down. I remember sitting going, I can't believe I just wrote that down. I want to make less money. I mean, more money, working less, just talking to people, not doing a whole lot of much complicated. I'd done a lot of complicated as well, and I was just tired of complicated. And that wasn't a badge of honor anymore anyway. Like, oh, look at all the fancy words I can put down on a bit of paper. That wasn't bringing me joy. So, but I didn't know how to articulate back then either, like really honing in on purpose and really kind of, and saying no to things over here in the hope and expectation that something over here would pop up. I still was in the hustle, like, I've got to take this job. I've got to take. So I came up with an idea. I'd reached out to some friends of mine who had their own business, and it was executive recruiting was, and I'd seen like a need in the specific area that I worked in, which is financial services. So these friends of mine had a company, but they weren't meeting this need. So I said, what about if I come on board and build out a platform for you? And they said, great. And I said, I've never done this before, but I know a lot of people and I can talk to a lot of people, and I'm not scared to talk to people. So I started that, and I was the main earner in our household. I did a few things early on that set me up for success. So we downsized the house. We had a big house, and we sold that, downsized it, consolidated in a little house that wasn't comfortable for a while, but we managed. And then I just got busy trying to generate this new business, really, and calling people and having, work became lunch, coffee, chatting to people about their business. That became work.
Going to the Beverly Hills Hotel in LA.
Yeah, that's right. Staying on Rodeo Drive. That was work.
Work. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I want more of that. Like, I want more. You were still looking for something that really set your soul on fire with purpose. And the last time we did a live, that's what we were talking about. Was it like it was great doing the talking, but you wanted it was like the fire in the belly? Was it something that really set your soul?
Something
Yes.
to fulfill you. You wanted that
Yes.
fulfillment.
So I felt like at every stage, now I look back over everything, the purpose was always, even as like a 10-year-old, 12-year-old thinking about becoming an attorney, the purpose was always helping people, doing something productive and positive for them that helped their lives while making a lot of money. Because I'm not a charity, right, either. And so, I'll support charities all day long. I'll volunteer for charities, but I'm not a charity. So I wanted to help people while also helping me and my family. And so I thought law was the thing. Well, it turned out it wasn't, because what I ended up doing was being really good at making other people a lot of money, or making very, very wealthy people a lot of money. So that lacked purpose after a while. Then I convinced myself the people I was making money for were actually big philanthropic people. So where they donate millions and millions of dollars every year, and we set up all of these structures for them to actually donate hundreds of millions of dollars. So that felt good for a while, because I'm like, these billionaires that I'm helping make more money are actually giving it. So that felt good for a while. Then it didn't feel great anymore, because it just felt transactional. And so then it felt really great to help people find good jobs, that were life-changing for them and their families, or career changing, and people calling saying it's the best thing ever. This is my dream job. That felt really great for a while. But then I was still putting people in jobs where they were, I'm still recruiting. Sometimes I'm like, you're not going to see your kids, and they're tired. They're working the 17-hour days. That's what they want, but they're not healthy. They've got health issues. So I had been experiencing my own health issues that it took me a long time to figure out. I found this program that, like, pretty much overnight, I feel like it was magic. It fixed everything that I had been working on for years. And when COVID happened, I was sitting in a house behind a computer with the kids in the next room, thinking, how can I keep helping people? This was the best way I could think. I had lost weight. I had gotten all of my numbers down. All of my scary numbers had gone down. I'd regained health. I was sleeping better. I had more energy. I had, my mood was better. I was a better mom. I was a better wife. I was more present. So then it became about giving that to other people. And so since March, I've helped about 150 people.
It's amazing.
Lose weight, regain health. And it's still coming. And now a lot of those people have become coaches with me. I'm a health coach as well. And so I'm training them on how to help others, because not everyone responds to me, and I don't know everyone. So it's sort of like this web that, we reach
ripple effect, isn't it? Of like just helping people to do what they've done from a place of real authenticity and a passion for finding a way that fits with really busy women, especially. Like, the program is so easy for you guys, isn't it? Like, I know it was so good to send me over. Like, I loved it. It was like, it needs to be.
It's like decision fatigue goes out the window. You don't think about it. Your body starts working for you all of a sudden. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you think you're premenopausal, postmenopausal. It doesn't matter if you've never exercised in your life. The program starts working for you. Your body starts healing itself. It really does feel like magic. It's just science. It's at the bottom of it is science, but they've made it very easy. But the wonderful thing about that is there were people who were clients, like old clients from when I was a lawyer, people who were friends of mine from law school, people who were current clients, who were stuck, who were exactly where I was.
You had been able
to,
yeah.
And I was able to help them. Well, it's released for them. They're finding new careers. They're doing better in their jobs. They've done, Anne's
like £39-40 now, like, and John,
40, but she like sends me, my mom, and she's 68. She doesn't mind. Well, she said it. and sends me pictures in her skinny jeans. I mean, it's going to be a flipping bikini next, isn't it, Anne?
And get that on Facebook.
But it's allowed you, hasn't it? You finally found your groove of like helping people earning an amazing living, helping other people to earn an amazing living and get away from the hustle and the grind.
Yes.
Like, what do you think? Like, so someone's sitting there today and they are, they're watching this on replay later because they're still working 17-hour day and they're watching this while they're cleaning the teeth before bed. Like, what would we're going to give the guys like our tips and strategies next Tuesday in the masterclass at 8 o'clock. But like, for you as someone who's lived through that recently, what would be your paid forward piece of advice? Like, what would you tell them to do in order to like make this switch that they need to make to learn like there is more to life and it's not worth killing yourself over?
It's letting go of the fear is a big thing. Letting go of that need to control and that fear of what if it doesn't work out? What if it's not this? What if it's not that? One of the most senior people within the Optavia organization, he's brilliant. And I use this all the time when people say, "Oh, but what if? Oh, people don't need another diet. Oh, people don't need pictures of me. Oh, it's in the middle of COVID and everyone's miserable." Me putting out a picture of me happy and healthy, it's rubbing it in, all of that. Anytime someone throws up an objection, including me in my head, so if you're sitting there with an objection to it, just say to yourself, but what if the opposite were true?
Mm-hmm.
So every time I have a pivotal like decision to make, and that doubt creeps in, and it's that negative self-talk or it's the limiting belief, I can't do this. I couldn't possibly write down that I want to make more money working less. But what if the opposite were true? I couldn't possibly at age 46 lose 57 pounds eating 6-7 times a day and not exercising. But what if the opposite were true? I couldn't possibly make more money but working 2 hours a day, chatting to people all day long on the phone, being there for your family, planning trips on a private plane with your friends. But what if the opposite were true? I do that every time now because anytime you've got that little bit of fear, right, and that little bit of doubt sets in, you feel it tighten, right? I mean, I think physically you feel yourself tighten. If you just say to yourself, even out loud or in your head or to someone else, but what if the opposite were true? I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like,
but
what if the opposite were true?
Ooh.
So that I think is important. And dare to dream big. I use this all the time. It's like I decided to be like a kid on Christmas. Our kids will write down anything and everything that is in their heart's desire that you can get from Amazon, basically. And they have no care for this, that, the other, right? It's just Santa's going to bring it. It's just going to happen, right? And so daring to write it down, daring to be bold and write it down. Who cares if someone sees it? No one's going to see it, but be bold and write it down. Then get into action. So it's not enough just to sit there and say, oh, well, I would love that. Wouldn't that be lovely? Oh, I'll try. Yeah. I don't say try anymore. I banish. If I find myself typing the word try, I erase it. I don't say try. I'll try to call you later. I'll try to do that. Or let's try to talk. Let's try to. No, there's no more try. It's just do it.
It's
do it or don't do it, right? I've got a lot of things I'm not going to do. Like, I'm the queen of a to don't list as well, but no trying. Oh, I'll try that. And yes, Laurel's lost 100 pounds, changed her life. She's incredible. She's a shining example of what's possible. But also I had to sit and spend some time within. What am I good at? What am I rubbish at? What do I enjoy? What do I hate? And find your superpower, go with that, and try to hone in on your purpose and trust it. Don't be, oh, well, that sounds flowery. Oh, that sounds whatever, to who? I think there is a lot of that critic, which I know you and Cheryl are the master of, that, you know, that inner critic, that imposter syndrome, that inner voice. But who'd want that?
Yeah.
Who's who? But what if the opposite were true? I mean, you can use any of those. So once I figured out what my purpose was, which was to help people and add value and enjoy it, then I was receptive to all of these things that came my way, and then I just sort of went with it.
Yeah, I love it. And if anybody, we talked a lot last night. I mean, Claire did a live demo on your page. It's on my page as well. Just talking about some of the mindset techniques that we use when we're coaching you and stuff. So if anybody wants to know more about that, definitely check that out. It was so much fun to do. So we are gonna, sorry, Cheryl.
I was just going to say, but for Claire, it's like what has happened in your life is like way exceeded your expectation, hasn't it? Like in terms of your lifestyle now, and the things that you've created for you and your family are like way more than what you expected to happen by just writing down the list. It's and then some. And then some.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's, you know, I don't know of the fancy terminology around attraction, but, you know, it's like you put something down and you sometimes limit yourself, right? And so if you dream, if I'm going to dare to dream about this, I'm going to dare to put this down, is big enough, then the universe delivers and then some, you know. So it's this or something better, right?
Yeah.
This or something better, not that, oh, it would be great if I could have this little bit. I was in the just enough mindset, and I had to let that go. And once you start seeing it happen and you trust it, then it's just exciting to what else, you know. I literally, so I have this, you can't see it, WWSBD. Can you see that?
Yeah.
What would Sarah Blakely do?
Yeah.
Yes, because, you know, she's someone who lives that way, right? She's got a normal life. She's making pancakes with her kids on the weekend in the kitchen, and the dirty washing in the background. She hasn't brushed her hair, and she owns a private jet, you know, and she's limitless in what she thinks she can accomplish. I mean, it's limitless. And I need that reminder, you know, every day sometimes, because it's like, you know, we've talked about a private plane, like literally with COVID, my parents haven't been able to come. We should have seen them 3 or 4 times already, you know, since COVID. Yeah. And I was sitting at a traffic light saying, well, what is it? Why haven't we seen them? Well, I don't want them at Heathrow. I don't want them exposed. You know, I don't want them on a plane with all that circulated air for 8-9 hours. I don't want to get my kids on a plane for 8-9 hours and be in the airport and all of that. And I was like, well, what's the solution to this? And I was stopped at a traffic light going, oh, private plane. And then, you know, that bit of, well, that's ridiculous, Claire. I mean, BA already costs a fortune. Private plane, that's ridiculous. And I was like, but is it? I don't know. How about I Google how much is a private plane to get me to England? And it's not cheap, but it's not as much as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So now on my list of my 2021 goals is private plane. I mean, whether I rent one or buy, I mean, why not? Because the goal is to see family, to spend time with family.
Yeah.
What was the obstacle? I'm scared of Heathrow and being on a plane for 9 hours with, you know, 200 other people. Well, let's move that obstacle out of the way. So Anne's getting very excited. The private plane is not being ordered tomorrow.
It's on order. It's in the post. Love it.
It's on order to the universe.
Exactly.
Right?
Love
and it. What's today? The 11th.
Yeah.
The 11th of March, 2021. How amazing when we get back on here at some point and I'm like, ooh, the pilot's ready.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm about to board my plane. You know, I mean,
I reckon Sarah Blakely's going to have a mug with what would CHD do.
Exactly. For everyone, there's a new moon on the 13th. Perfect time to write that list. That Claire suggested. Your desires list. What would it happen if the opposite would have happened? What if the
opposite were true?
Amazing. Like, well, we could sit here and talk all day. However, we can't.
I'm sorry.
She's used the 2 hours a day that she works. This was half an hour of it, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. So But look, everyone's still with us, so clearly they're enjoying it. So this is all good. We've still got lots of people watching. So basically,
10 minutes, but it's always like half an hour when it's us, isn't it?
Oh, you can it. We said 10 minutes.
This, everyone that watches this and everyone watching playback, I want you to get a post-it note and write, what would Claire HD do? What would Claire Hetherington Darr do? And when you sat there sitting thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know about this, get your post-it note out and go, what would Claire Hetherington Darr do? She'd fucking go, pardon the friends, she'd go and get her own plane. And what would Claire Hetherington Darr do? Boom, get it on the post-it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So if you check out Claire's page as well, guys, if you know Claire, there's a link. The link for the masterclass is on there as well, because she's always promoting what we do, because mindset is everything. That everything starts in mind. That thought of what will I do? It's your thoughts. So we want to teach you how to think better, to have more wealth in your life, of whatever that means to you. And we will see you all next. We're not live again before next Tuesday, I don't think.
No, we're live next Thursday. But obviously, if you want to see us live before then, click the link, sign up for the masterclass.
Well, I've signed up. I've signed up because anytime, anytime these two speak, especially if it's free, I mean, hello, gift to the world. So I will sign up for every single thing. Have I done them before? Yes. But every time I hear something different, I take something new away. And I tell people my time with you two, it's like, it is like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What do I get to do next? Like, it's like opening a present. I don't know what it's going to be sometimes, but it's going to be something great. And so don't view it as, oh, I've got to do this class or whatever. It's like, what's going to happen after this? Because something great's going to happen.
Thank you so much. We love you so much. Right, guys, we're signing out. We will see you next week, hopefully on the masterclass.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.